Allah gives and Allah takes. I fear that I do not have much time left in this world, yet I cannot complain. My life has been an adventure, and for all my humility, I believe it has been extraordinary enough to be written about. You may accuse me of vanity, but I have decided to write the book myself. It should be good literature, after all. I dined with fine emirs and caroused with simple peasants on moonlit steppes. I waged wars and sat on thrones only to lose them again. And it all began in the maelstrom of intrigue and bloody skirmishes that was my beloved Transoxiana, the melting pot of Persian high culture and nomadic traditions. To the east of Samarkand, my father ruled the fertile slopes of the Fergana Valley. Like all heirs of Tamerlane, he was a proud Timurid who sought to imitate his great ancestor. Unfortunately, Allah had not blessed him with a knack for warfare. After a few humiliating defeats, he decided to devote himself to his other passions: eating, drinking, and rearing pigeons. One day, as my father was climbing the stairs to check on his birds, Allah, in his infinite wisdom, decided that this model of gluttony had waffled on the earth for long enough. Halfway up to the dovecote, the stairs collapsed under him, and he fell to his death. And that is how I, Babur, came to be Lord of the Fergana Valley. Yet, like all transitions of power in our culture, it was not to be a peaceful one. Thanks to my dear mother, Kutluk, my Beys agreed not to abandon what surely appeared to be a dynasty in shambles. But my devious uncles were another matter. At that time, I was just a 14-year-old boy with nothing to my name, and my uncles, who had long desired the Fergana Valley, thought that my inheritance was ripe for the taking.
Men sneak around in the shadows of our walls, my princess. Shall we get the boy to safety?
These cowards snuck up in the dark of the night, but there is no need to fearfully hide. Hold our position until dawn, and the sun will reveal the faces of these scoundrels. Just as I expected. Some of your greedy uncles were among the attackers. They are not worthy of ruling glorious Samarkand. And since they failed to seize our homeland, we will now take theirs. Much can be achieved if you trust in Allah and your own strength. But it cannot hurt to have loyal allies by your side. Seek out other emirs in the area who can be convinced to join our cause.
I have no troops to spare, Babur. But my people report that the Uzbeks construct siege weapons in a nearby camp. I would rather see these powerful devices in your hands than theirs. Well done, Tiger! You will easily crush your devious uncles with these trebuchets.
Ah, Babur. The young tiger with both Tamerlane's and Temujin's blood in his veins. Very well. Bring me 10 white horses, and we shall form an alliance following our traditional customs. I see that you can be relied on, Babur. 10 splendid white horses, exactly as agreed. Come, men, henceforth, We ride under the banner of the tiger.
Your father was not exactly a religious man. Do you care more for pious people, Babur? Then bring me a holy relic. Allah must love you greatly if you manage to find this relic and bring it to me. My dervishes and I will stand by your side in the coming battles, Babur.
Well done, my boy. 2 influential Timurids have joined us. Skilled diplomacy is as good a weapon as a sword. Sometimes.
We have burned one of our enemy's camps. If we destroy the remaining ones, Samarkand will be under our control. We have cornered these rats! Destroy the last enemy camp, and Samarkand will be Babur's!
I could cry with pride and happiness. Samarkand, Tamerlane's dearest bride, is back in the hands of a true Timurid. And this man of honor is you, my son.
As delightful as it is to watch these daft grandchildren of Tamerlane slaughter each other, it is getting a little boring. It is time to put an end to this juvenile struggle.
I see your anger, my son. But it is good that the Uzbeks are so haughty. Reckless opponents are easy to overcome.
Shaybani Khan's men are like blades of grass. We're on forward. Another. Good. The tiger has shown his clothes. Mark my words, we will meet again.
On a moonless autumn night, we overcame the walls of Samarkand. The city's merchants and dignitaries were thrilled to receive me and praised my sense of justice, as they had heard that I did not tolerate looting among my soldiers. Yet when Shaybani Khan returned in the spring and Uzbek soldiers blocked the trade routes, their enthusiasm quickly evaporated. Before long, a famine broke out in the city. As the weeks wore on, more and more of my men left Samarkand under the pretext that they might catch a few sheep outside of the walls. None of them were ever seen again. In the end, I realized that I had to gamble for my survival. With my last loyal followers, I snuck past the besiegers during the night and sped towards the Fergana Valley to procure provisions and reinforcements. When we reached the valley at dawn, 2 riders came bringing terrible news. In my absence, one of Shaybani's generals had made himself the new master of Fergana. I felt like my father must have when the stairs gave way under him. I had stretched my luck too thin, and lost the land of my forefathers to the invaders. So it was that I, the great Babur who so recently had sat upon Tamerlane's throne in Samarkand, was now grateful for every watery bowl of millet porridge that I could get my hands on. I was in a pitiful state. My so-called army consisted of 15 riders, only 3 of which had swords. Hungry and battered, we spent the nights in the wild, and my mother slept in our only remaining weatherproof tent. Oh, Kutluk, my dear mother. Without her, I would have been hopelessly lost. Brave and indomitable, more skilled with her bow than any of my soldiers. She was a Mongolian princess sprung from the old tales. I am not ashamed to admit that I often cried myself to sleep in her arms in those awful days. She would tell me the legends of Genghis Khan and Tamerlane, and the painful setbacks that they had to endure before their days of greatness finally came. Just as they would for me. My mother turned out to be right. After 3 years of hardship, a messenger arrived from distant Herat. My uncle, Hussein Baikara, the last reigning Timurid, sought a capable commander to lead the city's defense against the Uzbeks, who were now hovering around Herat like vultures. It was an opportunity that I could not pass up.
What an inhospitable swathe of land. Nothing more than rubble, rocks and sand as far as the eye can see. Let us not waste any time, for your uncle awaits us.
Take this food, Babur. I know that it is not much, but it comes from the bottom of my heart.
Caution! An Uzbek ambush! I would never have thought that they could have already penetrated this far south.
Where is Hussein? Does he not wish to welcome his relatives who took the dangerous journey through the desert just to see him?
We are heartbroken to inform you, Princess, that the righteous Emir has closed his eyes forever after a long battle with illness. Without Hussein, the city is leaderless, and the villainous Uzbeks are already rubbing their hands with glee.
May Allah receive him with grace. But now is not the time to mourn. We cannot allow the Uzbeks to snatch another jewel from us. We will defend Herat.
We have only a few soldiers, but our treasury is well stocked. We will ensure that you and your soldiers are compensated royally for their services, Babur. You will need siege engines to storm enemy cities and camps, but there is far too little timber to be found in this desert. There is an elephant breeder to the south, however. Perhaps you can use these powerful beasts instead.
The breeder says that he is willing to give us his elephants. But only if we pay him abundantly, of course. The elephants are ours! We can now breed our own and train these mighty giants to assist us in battle.
Just because I executed some of your relatives to subjugate this beautiful city, does not mean that I have a quarrel with you, Babur.
What is this? Your soldiers in our camp! The war was supposed to be new land!
You in Herat, I in Kabul. We should not get in each other's way. Declare me an ally, and I will extend you the same courtesy. You have chosen wisely, Babur. We will surely become good friends.
You should not trust this man. Stay vigilant, my boy. Well done, my son. One Uzbek army is smashed. Do not let up now.
I feel that I should no longer be your ally, Babur. See, Kabul is on the rise, and we will have no need for haggard Timurids in our future empire.
That was foreseeable, was it not? Well then, we will take the fight to Kabul. The city is ours. We may have lost Samarkand, but nothing will stop us from turning Kabul into a paradise.
We refuse to shed any more blood in this dusty desert. If you are desperate to rule this wasteland, Babur, so be it. At least for the time being.
The Uzbeks had been driven out. Or so I thought. As soon as I left Persia, Herat was overrun by a third Uzbek army, which had been waiting for me to lower my guard. Yet the pain of losing Herat was nothing compared to what befell me shortly after taking Kabul. My noble mother, who had suffered all of the hardships of the last few years without complaining, died in the shadow of the city's snow-capped mountains. It was not a good place for Kutluk to die. She had always loved the rolling hills of Samarkand. Yet, even as grief consumed me, I surrendered her body to the earth in the most beautiful terrace garden in all of Kabul. I had become the ruler of a grand cosmopolitan city. Yet I felt like the poorest man in the world. It seemed that for every good thing that I was given, something valuable was taken away from me. Allah gives, and Allah takes. Samarkand was the most beautiful face that the earth has ever turned towards the sun. And in Herat, you were sure to accidentally kick a poet whenever you stretched your legs. I missed both of these cities dearly, but my new capital was not too shabby either. With skies filled with herons and cranes, surrounded by breathtaking mountains and hills dressed in fruit orchards, Kabul was a jewel in the wilderness. This unending loveliness inspired me to beautify the city even more. New palaces were erected and mosques established. Trees were planted and gardens built, the most beautiful in the world, mind you. The money required for these lavish projects came easily, as Kabul lay at the heart of the Silk Road. And the trade caravans from northern India brought not only sweets and aromatic roots, but also interesting news. The Indian city-states beyond the mountains were still recovering from Tamerlane's invasion 100 years earlier. Apparently, they were weak enough to offer little resistance to a determined invader. I had to get to the bottom of these rumors, so I organized an expedition to Hindustan. And since you can always combine the useful with the pleasant, I decided to carry out the expedition as a raid.
The infirm city-states of the Punjab lie at our feet. Let us show them that it was a mistake to consider us an ordinary band of robbers! My lord, many Afghan warriors who oppose your just rule have gathered in the mountains. Be cautious. We can only expect that they will stab us in the back as soon as we invade India.
Babur, we know that whoever rides with you will be rewarded with abundant plunder. We would join you, but we must first repair our battered mountain fortress. Unfortunately, enemy clans have seized our only quarry, depriving us of the building materials that we need. Drive their soldiers off, and we will be loyal to you. Our quarry is ours once more. Thank you, Babur. We will now rebuild our fortress, and then join you on your raids.
An avalanche buried this pass. With the help of a few strong elephants, we could clear the rubble and open this path again. We have cleared the rubble. I wonder where this path leads.
We have been stuck behind this avalanche for 15 days. Show us the way out, and we will gladly join your army.
Good news, Amir. Nomadic warriors from Transoxiana have heard of your successful raids and have come to join our ranks. Let us see how Indian elephants handle Tatar composite bows.
Invaders from the north are up to mischief in our lands. Alert all available soldiers.
Nobody in Jalandhar will escape our blades and arrows.
We have plundered rich loot, exactly as you had promised, Amir. Let us retreat to the mountains and enjoy our triumph with a sip of cider.
For all the coin, diamonds, and rubies that my men presented to me, these spoils were merely the promise of something far greater. But I had just the idea for how to invest these new riches. Far to the west, in the Ottoman Empire, great advances had been achieved in gunpowder technology. The Sultan had entire gunpowder regiments at his disposal, and his new cannons were suitable not only for sieges, but also for use in battle. Thus, I sent negotiators to the Ottomans to acquire these miracle weapons for me, and to hire experts to demonstrate their use to my men, who only knew how to fight with bows and sabers. The sound of a cannon being fired is indescribable. For a while, I forgot about all of my troubles and simply fired a cannonball each day for my own amusement. Hearing of my new toys, my relatives began pleading for me to retake Transoxiana from the Uzbeks, even awarding me the title Padshah, Great King. A decent ploy, but my attention was now fixed on India. Strictly speaking, India already belonged to me, as Tamerlane had once conquered it for our family. As the last ruling descendant of the great Amir, It was only right that I be given back what someone else was only administering for me. That someone was a man named Ibrahim Lodi, an Afghan pretender who ruled northern India from his capital in Delhi. Seeking to avoid unnecessary bloodshed, I wrote him a friendly letter and gave him a goshawk as a present. All that I asked in return was for my lands to be given back to me. Unfortunately, Ibrahim Lodi never replied, and so I had to put down the quill and let my cannons do the talking. With 15,000 men, I marched on Panipat, a small village on the plains northeast of Delhi. Ibrahim, for his part, mobilized an army of 100,000. In front of my men, I played the intrepid general, unshaken even by this unimaginable number. But secretly, I wondered if I had not bitten off more than I could chew.
Ibrahim Lodi is so confident of victory that he has delayed his attack. This gives us time to improve our position.
Babur, I am dying to let my guns do the talking for you, but without a supply of gunpowder, the fun will not last very long.
The two commanders of the Sultanate's vanguard are fickle characters, whose loyalty to Ibrahim Lodi is in doubt. Perhaps we can convince them to join us, instead of drowning in the bloodbath to come.
All the towers on the road are destroyed. What are you waiting for, my Odashla? Bring the gunpowder to the camp. Derhal! The gunpowder delivery has arrived. That will allow us to equip more cannons. Just keep the forces of the Sultanate away from my marksmen and cannoneers, Babur.
Dawlat Khan is smarter than expected, and knows that a pointless death lies ahead if he continues to cling to Ibrahim Lodi. As soon as the fighting begins, he will take our side. Splendid! We managed to convince Alam Khan to stab Ibrahim Lodi in the back in the upcoming battle. Finally, a perfectly crafted intrigue again, just like in our sorely missed homeland. The provisions stored in this building will now feed our soldiers, and not the armies of the Delhi Sultanate.
Babur! You were thoughtless enough to invade my lands, although you are heavily outnumbered. No more waiting. It is time that you pay the price. Now charge, my mahouts! My vanguard's commanders let me down. You just cannot trust these warlords who call themselves Khans. But it does not make a difference. I have enough Indian troops eager to go into battle for me. These Ottoman gunmen are strong. It must be their coffee. Enough! It seems like I will have to take up the sword myself. Servants! Bring me my horse and armor! Darkness envelops me. All is lost.
Ibrahim Lodi has fallen in battle. Word of his death will soon spread. Victory is within your grasp. Victory is ours! The panicked enemy soldiers storm off the battlefield in desperate search of shelter. The road to Delhi is clear.
On the fields of Panipat, the enemy's strength in numbers proved to be its greatest weakness. Having never faced firearms before, Ibrahim's terrified war elephants were rendered useless by the thundering of my cannons. With little room to maneuver, his fighters huddled together so closely that they became nearly immobile. Firing straight into their lines, my cannoneers created a bloodbath. Just a few hours after the battle begun, there was nothing left of Ibrahim's army. My men found his body in a mountain of corpses and brought me his head as evidence of his demise. With Ibrahim's death, the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end. I had a tomb erected for the fallen Sultan in Panipat, as a reminder that the great Babur treats even his fiercest opponents with respect. Having established myself as the new ruler of northern India, I set out to explore my new realm. But wherever I went, I experienced only shock and disappointment. The people here lacked all good manners and never paid their taxes on time. None of the cities that I visited had a university, and there were no good horses to be found, no tasty grapes or sweet melons. Nothing. The one saving grace was the enormous deposits of gold and silver. Riches which made the Rajput empires in the west regard me with envy and suspicion. I knew better than to underestimate these independent princes, whom even Lodi had failed to subjugate. But motivating my men to do battle with them proved difficult. Many of the soldiers who had traveled with me from Kabul were disappointed that our campaign had not ended with a traditional Timurid pillaging. Like a sword that had seen too many battles, their loyalty had been blunted. I had to use all of my eloquence to convince them to stay. In a humbling act of sacrifice, symbolic of what I now asked of my followers, I publicly spilled a whole batch of Afghan wine that I had been looking forward to for months. My men were moved to tears when I announced that I would never again drink wine, for they knew very well how devoted I was to such worldly pleasures. When I asked Allah for his blessing, my soldiers held up their weapons in assent. With my warriors' loyalty sharpened, I began preparing for war.
Now that the Sultanate of Delhi is crushed, the Rajputs see their chance to regain power. Rest assured, Babur, we will not allow that. Centuries of war have made the rural population suffer. We may be able to win the peasants' loyalty by repairing their crumbling settlements. It seems that we are no longer the only ones using gunpowder in combat. Portuguese traders sell arquebuses to the Rajputs. Let us show these infidel dogs from Iberia that they are not welcome here, so long as they do business with our enemies.
Babur, rumor has it that you are fairly sharing the spoils of war. What do you say? Is there still room for some talented horsemen in your ranks? Ah, Indian gold. The only thing that shines brighter than the manes of our noble horses. Come, men! From now on, we ride with the Mughals.
We thank you, Babur, for keeping our village from falling apart. We promise to be your loyal subjects.
Babur, you dare to disrupt free trade? Are you a robber baron or a ruler, Tigre? Now! Our trading post lies in ruins! Come on, men, back to our caravels! Let us leave this cursed land as quickly as possible!
There they sail away! These Portuguese and their cannons will not cause us any further trouble! We dealt the Rajputs a heavy blow. One of their kingdoms is shattered. One remains. Rajputs are defeated! From now on, you are truly the only man who can claim overlordship of India! Long live Babur, His Imperial Majesty!
With the Rajput alliance crushed, there was no one left who dared challenge me. A grand feast was held to celebrate my victory. Everyone who had stood by my side on my arduous path to power received an invitation, as did, of course, all of the descendants of Genghis Khan and Tamerlane. 40,000 guests accepted the invitation, including princes from Persia, veterans from Kashmir, and even commoners who had done me a favor in one way or another. Yet what pleased me most was the arrival of about 100 Afghan peasants from Transoxiana who had given me shelter during my days in the wilderness. I had never forgotten the bravery of these common shepherds, and they, evidently, had not forgotten me either. While I laughed at the follies of my fellow commanders and danced to my heart's content with the cheerful peasants, it was all just for show. On the inside, I remain a stranger, alone in a foreign land.